You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and by sunset you're the star witness in a federal investigation? Yeah, me neither. At least, not until the day I tried to sell my yacht and wound up dragging an entire HOA crime ring into the light. You can laugh, but if you've ever lived under an HOA, you know exactly how quickly things can go from peaceful to absolutely bonkers, especially when your neighborhood's ruled by someone like Olivia Whitmore. Everyone calls her Karen because, well, if the shoe fits and it's pink with a 4-inch heel, she's wearing it. Clearwater Estates looks like a dream on the surface, you know? Lake so still you can see the sky in it. Docks lined up like parade floats. The faint smell of cut grass every morning. But if you scratch that surface, just once, with the wrong mailbox color or a Christmas wreath left up past January, Karen will show up with her clipboard, her phone, and that grin that could strip paint off a wall. Every blade of grass, every mailbox, every conversation on the community Facebook group, she's got an opinion and a rule for it. So the day I decided to sell my $2.5 million yacht, my pride, my midlife crisis, my escape on water, I figured the only real trouble would be picking a buyer. What I didn't expect was Karen tearing down to the dock like the Queen of England on a warpath, waving her phone around, screaming about federal crimes, and calling 911 because apparently selling a yacht is now international espionage. Within minutes, half the neighborhood was on their porches, phones out, faces lit by red and blue police lights reflecting off the lake. I swear, one of my neighbors was live tweeting the whole scene before the officers even made it to my side of the dock. Karen screaming about how I'm laundering money, selling HOA property without authorization, her words, not mine. The cops are confused. I just stand there and let her wind herself up like a toy you never should have bought your kid. Then, right on cue, she tries to snatch victory from the jaws of reality. That dock belongs to the HOA. He's using our facilities for personal profit. This is embezzlement. I almost laughed. Instead, I walked to my truck and pulled out a folder so thick it could stop a bullet, survey maps, title deeds, every permit you could ask for, all stamped and signed from before the HOA even existed. Officer Barnes, good guy, by the way, reads through the papers, nods, says I'm in the clear. Karen goes purple. He's rich. He must be hiding something. Offshore accounts. The other officer rolls his eyes. Ma'am, we can't arrest someone for being rich. You know what I mean? But Karen isn't done. No, she fires up alive. Stream for the HOA Facebook group, her voice shaking with righteous fury. Suddenly my phone's exploding with texts. My wife's demanding to know what on earth I did now. Neighbors are spamming emojis. Some are angry. Some just want to know if we're trending yet. And you'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Wrong. Because that's when things get truly weird. One of the officers, the quiet one, asks to keep my paperwork just to verify with the county registry. I hand it over, knowing there's nothing to hide. Karen, of course, starts name-dropping her connections, which, let's be honest, is just her cousin who works part-time in the permit office and that infamous neighborhood gossip line. When the police drive off, Karen heels it across the dock, stabbing holes in the wood with every step. You think you're clever, Brian? Selling your fancy boat, acting like the rules don't apply. I looked her dead in the eye and said, Olivia, you hand-delivered a 120-page HOA handbook. Last Christmas. I've memorized every rule. Selling my yacht isn't against any of them. She mutters about calling the district attorney, like the DA's waiting on her speed dial. I could have let it slide. I should have. But there was something off, something almost desperate about the way she was acting. That night, my yacht broker emails me, says the buyer's getting spooked because Karen told him. The sale is under federal review. Now she's not just making a scene, she's messing with my money. And that's when I started digging. I open my safe, pull out years' worth of HOA paperwork. I notice a dock renovation fund, nearly $5,000, supposed to cover lighting and security, but I'd personally fixed the last light bulb on the dock myself. The check went to Blue Harbor Services, LLC, quick online search, registered agent, Daniel Whitmore, Karen's husband. Suddenly the paranoia makes sense. I send everything to my lawyer. He tells me to keep digging. Over the next week, while Karen's handing out flyers about my supposed financial crimes and banning me from the community clubhouse, I'm piecing together a story straight out of a bad TV movie. Fake invoices, duplicate payments, special assessment, funds rerouted to Blue Harbor. At the next HOA meeting, Karen tries to roast me in public, standing at the podium, accusing me of unsavory dealings. But for the first time, cracks start to show. Greg, my neighbor, speaks up, reminds everyone I've been a decent guy, never missed a payment. He hints, not so subtly, that maybe Karen's the one who needs to show some receipts. After the meeting, he slips me a flash drive, maintenance invoices, fake signatures, everything. I pull an all-nighter, building a timeline, and by morning, I've got a 20-page document that could take down a small government. You'd think Karen would back off, but no, she doubles down, fining me $1,500 for defamation and holding secret board meetings trying to vote me off the dock registry. Meanwhile, the county clerk, an old friend of mine, bless her, tells me Karen's filed a 20-page complaint accusing me of coastal encroachment. But Linda, the clerk, lets me in on a secret. The HOA hasn't filed a financial audit in 3 years. Now it's Karen who's under the microscope. My lawyer and I file a formal whistleblower complaint with the state. And suddenly, this is bigger than our little community. Agent Laura Jensen from the Financial Crimes Unit shows up, cool as a cucumber, tough as nails. She tells me Blue Harbor Services is a shell company being used to launder money through multiple HOAs. Karen's just one cog in a much bigger machine. I'm instructed to play it cool, don't let Karen know the feds are circling. So I show up at the next dock cleanup, smile for the newspaper, pretend everything's fine. Greg texts me that night, says Karen's shredding documents. I tip off Agent Jensen, and by sunrise, the county's got a warrant and is hauling off every file and hard drive from the clubhouse. Karen's furious, screaming in my driveway. You did this, Brian. You'll regret it. All I say is, turns out you were the one breaking the law. Within days, the FBI's raiding the clubhouse. Black SUVs everywhere. Karen's mascara is running, hair wild, shouting about clerical errors and false accusations. But the crowd's not buying it anymore. Greg cracks a joke about Karen's vacation home. The community, once terrified, starts to see the real story. And when I host a community transparency night, projecting every fake check and offshore transfer for the neighbors to see, there's no going back. The vote is unanimous. Karen and her board are out. But here's where the twist comes in. Just when I think it's over, I get an anonymous tip. More names. Deeper corruption. Turns out, a city official named Briggs, who approved the grants, was on Karen's payroll too. The next raid nets half a dozen more arrests, including Karen's husband and 3 city employees. The news goes national. I'm getting calls from reporters, HOA reformers, and even the yacht buyer, who's now eager to close the deal. Before the trial, Agent Jensen shows up with my exoneration letter and a thank you note from the Bureau. You helped bust a $1 million embezzlement ring, she says, but this isn't over. Sure enough, Clearwater Estates is only the first domino. The state launches a full-blown investigation into HOA grant fraud. By the time Karen's sentenced to 8 years in federal prison, the county has dissolved our HOA and asked me to act as interim chair. First thing I do, no more fines for mailbox colors. No more secret meetings. We hold every vote in the open, post every expense on a community board by the lake. Greg grills burgers, kids splash in the water, and for the first time, laughter replaces fear. Someone leaves a hand-carved model yacht on my porch with justice painted on the side. Yeah, I cried a little, but there's always another storm. A flash drive, another letter, evidence that the network's rebuilding under new names. So we keep digging. We blow the whistle on a city councilwoman tied to the next round of fake grants, and the dominoes fall all over again. In the end, we rename the community Clearwater Haven. At the dedication, I remind everyone, truth floats, no matter how deep you try to sink it. Karen's infamous 911 call, the one meant to ruin me, had unraveled her empire instead. That's poetic justice, don't you think? So, here's my question. If your HOA president tried to ruin your life, would you fight back or keep your head down? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you believe real justice is worth the wait. Because if there's one thing I know now, it's that justice might sail slow, but it always finds the shore.